group of powerhouse leaders. We have Steve LaMothe, one of Sacramento's top 10 agents. Jay Friedman, a veteran known for treating every home like his own. Laura Eklund, 22 years in the business and trusted by clients across the region. And Brian Perry, Compass Sacramento's #1 agent and a sub 3-hour marathon runner at that. Give it up for this They should be on. Check, test. Check. Yeah, all right. Okay, so question for all 4 of you. We'll just go down the line here, starting with you, Steve. How did you get into real estate?
My story was kind of like Darren's. My parents, or my dad and stepmom, had owned and bought rental properties through the recession, and I was kind of the runner for all of that. And I worked with an agent. His name is Mike Buzinski. He's the guy, and he facilitated all of those transactions. But that really opened my eyes, I would say. I really got my license to get in the door, really, to avoid having to have an agent, and was really interested in the investment side of the business. And very quickly read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and saw that it was truly a real business too, not just a sales career. I'm not really like a sales guy. So that was the beginning of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is completely different. So, you guys are all pretty young, so you probably don't even know what magazines are. I was a sales manager for a car magazine called Import Tuna. And in 2000 and whenever, the internet was taking off. And magazines were going bye-bye. And so my whole world was getting turned upside down. It went from making really good money to making like nothing. Changed our commission structure so we didn't get paid until we hit 2/3 of our goal. I had a stay-at-home mom and a baby girl at home. And literally, like, I was like, holy shit, what the hell am I gonna do? And the only thing I like as much as cars is I like houses. And I love people. So I'm like, okay, let's get into selling stocks and bonds. My wife's like, you're freaking nuts. You want to do something stupid like that, you can get into real estate. Because at least you know houses and you know people, and you can't even bounce a checkbook. And so she gave me 1 year and some money out of the equity of our home and said, you have 1 year. Either you're going to provide for our family, or we're going to die and you're going to get another corporate job. And here we are, 20 years later.
Dang, that's awesome.
Okay, well, my story is completely different from both of yours. I was 8 months pregnant, and I was searching for my dream home, and I was working with an agent for 5 months. And unfortunately, there was mishap after mishap and mishap, and then finally, she dropped the ball, and I was devastated. I had to end up firing this agent, and I was in such, you know, when you're pregnant, not for the men, but the women, and your hormones are just crazy. And the bottom line is this: I was so upset, and I wanted to make sure that if I ran into anybody else, I had clients, I didn't want them to experience the exact same thing that I went through. So that actually motivated me to get my license, to then be busting my tail to do whatever I could to serve my clients.
Brian, what about you?
So my story is also different. It was 1998, 99. I was in the tech world. I was with a startup company. I was a marketing guy who turned into the marketing director at 22, 23 years old. And then when it went bust, like all the other dot bombs, we decided to move to Rockland from Fremont. And I went through a small midlife crisis. I started selling boats because I thought it'd be fun. I did that for a couple years, and while I was doing that, we go out and look at homes. And let me go back. We owned a place in Fremont. We bought our first place when we moved to Rock. We moved to Rock and bought a place, and my wife was an interior designer, so it was just a good fit. After selling boats for a couple years, I realized I loved real estate more. I jumped in head first. I left my job with a couple months in the bank, and I never looked back.
That's awesome.
That was 22 years ago.
Wow. Well, what's interesting about all of your stories is you didn't start in real estate. You had careers before that. But there was something that motivated you to do it, right? So it's kind of, you said all your stories are different, but there was a little shift that you guys had, and you guys are all top producers, but you didn't start in real estate. You didn't start, that wasn't your first career, might have been your second or third career. But Steve, I want to start with you. You are one of Sacramento's top 10 agents. You run a Team Elevate Realty group, which is a pretty incredible feat that you're one of Sacramento's top agents and run a successful team. But how did you build your business to this level? What, I guess, mindset did you have to get to this level, or what routines or systems did you put in place in order to get to the level you're at today?
Yeah, I think, and I've met lots of agents, top producers, average agents, and everyone has like a totally different story. But if you really listen, the podcast guy, I forget his name.
Aaron.
What was it?
Aaron.
Oh, okay. He had mentioned there's all kinds of ways to generate leads. And I'm a firm believer that there really isn't. There's channels to go out and market to quote unquote generate leads, like Zillow sending you a lead. They're just using the internet to generate the contact information, right? So you can either make phone calls, you can do advertising to get contact information, or you can go belly to belly and door knock, right? Gary Keller once told me that success is not hard, it's very simple, but executing is not easy, right? And so you all came here into this room today to learn, right? I've met and trained so many agents that fill their calendar with tons of training, but then they don't execute on the stuff that they learn. Because to get like this guy, he's making calls, right? He's doing the hard work, and it's really not that hard. We built the business by making phone calls. Let me go back. I partnered and joined someone who was where I wanted to be first and foremost. So I came into the team world with someone that was a top producer. I would highly advise anybody new in real estate. I actually think that should be the path. Everyone that's newly licensed should join someone or partner with someone. Darren was talking about he's offering his services to hold open houses and open doors and partnering up with agents. I mean, I worked for free for almost 2 years to learn the business, and then joined the team and really started to learn the business from that point. So, we break it down. It's got to be hard work. Find someone who is where you want to be, emulate everything that they do, and build your entire schedule around those things. And usually it's the hard stuff, like making phone calls, knocking on doors, talking to 20 people a day. It's really not that hard. It's just hard to execute on.
That's great. Execution, that's the key. That's the key. So Jay, you are a top 1% realtor in Sacramento, and you're also a veteran, correct? No? Oh. I love that. That's okay. Okay, well let's go back to then, you said you were in car sales with magazines?
So I sold advertising.
You sold advertising for car magazines. So what did that experience teach you, and how did that translate into your real estate career?
That is a great question. So I came into this world expecting to have billboards and to have park benches and to do all the marketing that realtors do, right? And we're talking about 20 years ago. And so that was my goal. And then I went to a conference, popped in Harvard. You guys probably don't know who they are. But anyways, I bought this program to do all the marketing and all the mailings and all this stuff. And then I heard about Brian Buffini. I'm like, forget those Hobbs and Herr guys. I'm doing that. And that's all about working by referrals, not word of mouth. That's the one thing I wanted to get beat into your head. We're going to work word of mouth. We don't want to wait for people to talk about us because we're cool, we got great shiny heads, or whatever the reason is. We want people to know that we want the referral. You got to ask for a referral. Constantly ask for a referral. Hey, making sure everybody knows what you do and that you want to help. You want to help them. You want to help their family. You want to help their cousins, their sisters, their brothers, their aunts, or uncles, best friends, whatever. Make sure that they know. And then not only do you want to make sure they know, but you want to give them a reason. And I'm not talking about buying their business. Give them a reason. They want to work with you. They like your personality. They like you smile. They like that you answer your phone. They like you actually show up when you say them to do something. When you accidentally sell somebody's house and they include their refrigerator and they didn't know about it because, hello, we've all bought refrigerators. Come on. And if you haven't bought refrigerators, that means that you haven't sold enough houses. So the reality is when that accident happens, you own up, you admit your guilt, go to Home Depot, buy the gift card. Sorry about that, here's the new refrigerator. You know, or if your client moves out of the house, the refrigerator broke, and it gets thrown away and it ends up in a landfill to use refrigerator, well, I have a moving truck. I'm like, I'm gonna go buy a new refrigerator that matches the same exact refrigerator and go pick it up in the moving truck and deliver it to the new homeowner. Well, they don't want a Craigslist refrigerator. Well, they bought a used house with a used refrigerator, they didn't get a used refrigerator. Well, if you don't give us that exact refrigerator, I'm like, dude, we're not going to the dump to get you the same refrigerator back. So, anyway, solve the problem. Stop on the new refrigerator. Not the exact same, not counterfeit, but very much more expensive than the Craigslist fridge that would have matched the fridge that was in it. So the thing is we're problem solvers. You solve the problems, admit the guilt, take care of the problem, move on. The problem is we want to get the house sold, they want to get the house sold. How do we solve that problem? We sell it. We do a good job. We show it. Same thing with buyers. How do we solve the problem? We find them the house. I should keep going. Sorry.
I love it. It's interesting. I feel like the theme of today is that we're not in the sales business. We're in the business of helping people, right? And you will succeed if you help people and you genuinely want to help people. And Laura, that kind of ties into what you said and how you wanted to get your start into real estate. You were fed up with the poor service that your agent had given you, and you wanted to help people. You wanted to make sure no one had that same experience. Your son actually just got his real estate license, so congrats to him. So amazing. And you and I have talked a little bit about work-life balance. So can you share a little bit about things you have learned over your real estate career and how to actually get that work-life balance, if that even exists?
It's funny, because we had a great conversation. I mean, my goodness, already 45 minutes. And it was funny because outside we were having a conversation about work-life balance, because for the longest time I'm like, does that exist? It was a struggle. And when you're brand new in the industry and you've got young kids, I mean, you're just trying to survive, you know? But what I will tell you is it was a lack of boundaries on my side. I had no boundaries. I literally had the tagline on my email that said, available 24/7. Well, who says that? But you're training your clients to say, it's 10 o'clock. Why are you not available? You said you're always available. And so for me, I set myself up to fail because I was constantly available. I would take calls at 10 o'clock. I would take calls when we were at dinner or at kids' events. And that is my biggest regret. The one thing that I will reiterate is that if you have young children, be as present as you possibly can. That is my biggest regret ever. You can't get that time back. You can always make money. So as far as the work-life balance, for me, I know this sounds super dramatic, and I'm gonna get dramatic, but when you want to just be with your friends and be with your family, and it's 7 o'clock, and you're like, oh my gosh, why is the seller calling me? Or why is crazy agent calling? They're blowing up my phone. You know, and it's just not one call, it's several calls, and it's text messages, and then they leave a message, and then you want to be present with your friends and family, but you can't because you know what's on the other end. What emergency? Well, newsflash, there is no emergency in real estate past 7 o'clock. No one is available. So call 911. Because your house is on fire or something, that's what it is. So for me, I know I went and purchased another phone, and we talked about this because the Verizon guy said, you could just use your phone you have and get another number. And I said, I don't even want to see that phone. I have kids in college, my family, I want them to reach me, but I want to be present because I haven't for so many years. You know, this 22 years, you finally clicks and you're like, oh my gosh, life. It's not about just work. So I went and bought a new phone, and it was a game changer because I would tell my clients all the time, I don't answer my phone after 7 o'clock, but I would see the calls. So as soon as I got that new call or that new phone, I would turn my phone off. And I would tell people, you can call, you can text, you can do whatever. You will not reach me until 8:30 the next morning. So the next morning I do my rituals and my devotionals, and I'm fresh to hit whatever I am going to receive on that end. My house is on fire. Well, I hope you called 911, you know, but I'm not going to get that. But you go to bed, if you've got bad news, and you're going to bed with all that garbage that you can't resolve. We are in the business to solve problems, But if you can't get a hold of anybody, you're just sitting with that and you go to bed. So for me, go buy a phone, a new phone.
And to follow up on that, do you feel like your business has suffered or slowed down at all with unplugging and giving yourself those boundaries?
Not at all, but I will tell you, my mental clarity in the morning is so amazing because of it.
From a top producer herself, so set those boundaries, people. All right, Brian, you are Compass Sacramento's #1 agent, and you are a sub 3-hour marathon runner. You obviously are a hard worker. We talked about grit and dedication. As a top producer and a competitor, how do you effectively manage your team, delegate your responsibilities, and in both running and real estate, and make it yourself a top achiever in both of those fields?
I don't know that I do it well, to be honest with you. And I'm probably the one that was calling you at 10 p.m. at night. I'll go back to what Steve said. I mean, I didn't get into this to be a salesperson. I'm a service person. So everybody on my team has a dedicated task that they do. And I didn't start out that way. The first 10 years of my business, 22 years, the first 10 years, I did everything. I was the TC. I was the one that, get up at 5 to run, and I was working till 11 p.m. Usually that TC work that I was terrible at, I was doing it back. So 10 years in, I decided to get a TC full-time, and then I think on year 12, I hired a full-time assistant. We found out that was not the right seat in the bus for her, and she became an agent for our team, and she's been with us now, over 10 years. She's amazing. And my full-time assistant is licensed. It's my daughter. Because I've been doing this 22 years and she's 22, that's all she knows. She's really smart and she knows more than most people in the room about contracts, and she writes most of mine. So going back to how I manage my team, I don't manage them, they manage me. It takes a team to keep me going. I'm really good at rainmaking, and so the more they let me get out there and do that, the better we do as a team. So I have an expectation that they're going to self-regulate, and if they have questions or there's a problem, they'll come to me. And that's just the kind of relationship we have. As far as running goes, that's probably been the biggest game changer in my business. I started running 15 years ago, and it was life-changing. I was overweight, my blood pressure was high, my cholesterol was high. I dropped 60 pounds, ran my first marathon. Now I run sub-3 marathons. I've run Boston 3 times, I'll run it again next year. I had knee surgery this year, and I'm still gonna run Boston next year. But what running did, I didn't understand how motivating that was to other people. I don't even have to bring it up. They'll ask me, and it's really a part of our market. So it's been great. And when people know you do things outside of real estate in a big way, whether it's you're a good family person or you run marathons or whatever it is that you do well outside of real estate, it really helps with real estate. It brings people to you.
I love that. Well, piggybacking off of that, obviously all of you didn't start as top producers, right? We all start somewhere. So what was the one thing that really made that shift in your business and really just made your success skyrocket? Yeah, starting with you.
I would say getting very serious about a ritual and a routine. When I started real estate, I wasn't married, I didn't have kids. That was a huge advantage, right? I went all in for like 5 years, as hard as I could, 24/7 basically. And I think everything really changed when I made the decision to kind of throw up my hands and say, okay, I'm just going to do what they say, right? And the they I mean is like the Red Book, if you've read Gary Keller's book, or talk to anybody on the stage, what should I do to succeed in real estate? And then just go and do that, right? And so I think when I threw up my hands, I said, I'm not perfect, I'm just gonna follow what these people who are succeeding over here do. And then I, coupling that with a good motivation and a good routine in the morning. if you control your morning, you control everything else throughout that day. So for me, it was like waking up at 4 a.m. I have a 7-year-old now, and they both woke up. Both my kids woke up last night. In the middle of the night, I got like 5 hours of sleep. Great, awesome. I have this, and I have to speak to you guys today on 5 hours of sleep, right? But if I was well prepared for the day, and I had to show up and do the things, I noticed that my mindset was much stronger, right? I was much more resilient. So I woke up at 4 a.m., I went to the gym, I ate well, I drank lots of water, I got into the gym into the office at 7 a.m. People don't answer the phone at 9:45 or 10, right? The podcast guy, I forget his name again, he mentioned call people when they answer. Most of the agents in my office get into the office at 9:30, sometimes 10 o'clock. Well, I've been there hammering phone calls and contacts for almost 3 hours before that, right? So just give yourself an advantage. If you wake up early, be dedicated. I tell all my agents and anyone I've ever hired, if you just do this for 6 months nonstop, I promise you at the end of that, you're gonna see, you're gonna have an epiphany, right? You can do whatever you put your mind to if you are dedicated and you do those small things really well. You don't get to be on a stage like this or a top producer overnight. It's a lot of good small decisions. And I think going back to what Ryan talked about with the broken society, our society is very broken. And I think everyone thinks that, a successful person or, professional basketball player got there like instantaneously. They don't look at all the smart decisions those people made. They didn't go out Friday night and get hammered, right? They worked on themselves, they listened to podcasts, they woke up early. I think that's really important. So the one piece of advice I give everyone is just focus on the mental clarity and the fortitude part, and do the things that everyone says to do. If you do those two things, I think you have no help but to be successful, really.
That's awesome.
Me again.
Yes, you again.
So, 2005, I'm a licensed realtor. I quit my job. What do? I don't go and buy a suit. I'm not a suit guy, as you can tell. I had to show up, go to work. What do? Sit in the house, pray to Jesus, and someone's going to walk in. And not just walk in, but they're going to like you. They're going to want to talk to you. They're going to work with you. So every Saturday, every Sunday, every Memorial Day, Labor Day, holidays, sitting in that house trying to meet people and pray that they walk in the front door. But the key is no, it's not always. But that's what we want. Like, the biggest problem with our business is it's so easy to get in. I'm a real estate agent. I need to make lots of money. They make you money. Guess they're going to go flip burgers at McDonald's. No, that's not an option. You got to work, right? So you treat it like a job. Treat it like a career, not a hobby. Right? So from day one, I knew I had a family I had to provide for. This is not a hobby. I don't just show up, wake up at 9 or 10 o'clock, just go to work. Oh, okay, make a couple calls. No. Make some phone calls. You show up. I get up at 5 in the morning. I go to the gym. I work out. I'm at the office by 7:30. I tell all my clients that. And they all know that. And I take a picture of the gym to show that I was there. Not because I'm showing off that I have muscles. I'm showing off to show that I'm actually there. It's my accountability that I actually showed up, because I'll tell you what, there's been days I've woken up and been like, oh, dude, I don't want to get up, I'm going to sleep in. People are going to call me out. I'm not going to let that happen. So I show up. So I'm a realtor about 7 years, and I'm like, man, I'm selling 50 houses a year. I want to do more. I should probably get a coach. So I called Buffini and I got a coach. I had a coach like 3 months. The only thing I took out of it, honestly, was I needed an assistant. I hired my assistant. Because I was doing it all. Just like Brian, right? I was doing it all. I was my TC, I was doing this, and my wife had worked as a realtor's assistant for a year when we were in Southern California after college. So she was doing, between Bible studies, and showing up for walking with her friends, and play dates with the kids. Like, who am I? I'm not sports, right? So I hired Haley. She's been with me for like 11 years. So I guess I wasn't quite that long. So I guess I was really for like 10 years. And got an assistant. Haley's been with me for 11 years as my assistant. She loves it. She's totally just wants to do her job. And that's great, because I need her in the office. And then now that my son's in college, my daughter's 21, she's almost done with school, my wife just started me as a client care manager, so she also helps with back office stuff. So back office stuff and assistant, so what do? I can go out, be the rainmaker, right? Sell houses. So what does that mean? It means we're getting together people for lunches, getting belly to belly. It means we're going to listing appointments. It means we're showing properties. It means we're picking up lock boxes. I probably should have Chris do that. She is licensed, but I'll just do it. It's fine. The reality is it's a non-stop, right? And I love your idea about having a second phone. We've toyed with that, because I'll tell you what, I'll be on vacation and
You can afford it.
yeah. So I've never done it, but I will tell you what I do is I'll actually keep my ringer off now. The thing doesn't stop pinging. It's so annoying. So I just leave the ringer off all the time. You're like, you're on silent? Yeah, I know. You're first to keep calling me. Right? So ring is convenient for me. I'll check my voicemails, I'll check my text messages, and if I'm staring at Instagram because sometimes just need to decompress, and I see that text message come through, I'll respond. You know, so, and when I'm at my desk, my phone is face up, so I will see the light of the text coming through. So those are the things that as top producers, we need to do so we don't go freaking crazy, because selling these kind of homes, it takes a lot. I mean, when you're running multiple escrows at any given time, it takes a lot. And people are like, how do you do it? Well, it's not easy, but it's a lot of fun, and we're helping lots of people, and we're getting lots of referrals. You do a good job. And so that's the key.
No, that's perfect. Execution, hiring out, delegating. Laura, what about you? What was the one thing that shifted your business?
And I'm not just saying this because we are at a ROG event, but honestly, it was a game changer when I switched over to Realty One. I actually, this is embarrassing to say, but guess what? This is real. We're just being real, right?
Yes, I love it.
So when I switched over, I was in an accountability group with a bunch of girls. I didn't know anyone, by the way. That was terrifying because I came from a smaller brokerage, and I was like, oh my goodness, there's so many people. And I was a 54th agent. Not sure what the number is now. It's grown by so much. But the girls in that group pushed me to do things that I just hadn't done. And you're surrounding yourself by other individuals that are encouraging you. And I didn't have a CRM. I know that sounds ridiculous, right? Because I was in the industry for 11 years. I didn't have it on a spreadsheet. I didn't even keep in contact with my clients. It was just more so, oh, hey, here and there. So the game changer for me was, first of all, get a CRM, get my database all dialed. I started doing client parties. The game changer, really, same thing. I went to a Buffini seminar, and then I became a seminar junkie. I just absolutely love it, and you can just get some good nuggets, come back and be inspired and motivated. But keeping in touch with your clients, if you're not doing that, learn from us up here that how important it is to just literally drip and love on your clients, because it will literally, it's amazing. I'm just telling you. So from that experience, that was the game changer for me, just switching over to Realty One.
I love it. Yeah, keeping in touch with clients and accountability too. Yes. Brian, what about you? What was the one shift for you?
I think everybody touched on it already, but for me, from day one, just the day one stuff that I do today, I almost always answer my phone. Jay doesn't believe me because I don't answer the phone. We play phone tag a lot. But I do answer my phone, and answering their phone is huge. I mean, most people don't answer their phone in this industry, and they're where they are because they don't answer their phone. The other thing I've always done is I answer most of my emails at 4:30 to 5 a.m., sometimes 5:30. It's quiet in my house. And clients know this. In fact, they'll bring it up. Like, you answered me at 5:30 in the morning. They love that stuff. So it's just, it's the little things. But the game changer for me was when I left a very small brokerage in town that no one's ever heard of. There was two of us. And I went over to Coldwell Banker. Larger company, the splits weren't as good, but what I got was, I got to be around agents that were huge producers, and at the time I wasn't. And I said yes to everything. I said yes to every open house. I said yes to every speaking engagement like this, because I was in the crowd listening. And I did 2, 3, 4 open houses every weekend. And the one game changer for me with open houses, I learned everything I could about that neighborhood, about that builder, about the schools, about before there was Zillow and all that stuff that told you those things that you just pull it up. I knew that stuff. And people would come in the open house. I wasn't trying to sell them on the house. I was wowing them with my knowledge. And I got a lot of callbacks. So some of them are some of our best friends today from almost 20 years ago. So.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
So everything he just said is so true. Because I want you guys to think about this. You're at a job interview every time you do an open house. You're there. Like seriously, like you're there in this house and somebody's gonna walk in and talk to you. And you're gonna ask them, do you have a realtor? Well, don't just ask them if they have a realtor. And now that we have those stupid forms that Carr gave us, it's game changer. I'll tell you what, I never had anybody register open houses. I've been doing open houses for 20 years. Never had anybody register because you know what? People don't want to. But they all would get my business card and they all get a flyer. Whether they want it or not, they take it with them. And the thing is when they come in, they're looking for a realtor to help them. Maybe, maybe not. If they have a realtor, that's great. That's awesome. I don't ever try and approach anybody else's business. So people walk in now, and they hey, good to meet you, I'm David, and smile. Look like you actually want to be there. I can't tell you how many clients of mine go into open houses and are calling me reporting on the other realtors. You wouldn't believe this person. So anyways, be happy that you're there and they're there to meet you. They may not want to, but it's too bad, they are. And then you say, get their name, write it down. Oh, you have a realtor you're working with? Don't ask them, just you're writing down the paper. It's law now, we're supposed to ask. Oh, that's awesome, oh, I know them, they're awesome, they're great, I love them. And now you got their contact information because you know who the realtor is, that's all that matters. And then move on. And the thing is like, answer your phone. Like I told you I had my ringer off, doesn't mean I'm not answering my phone. I mean, they can attest to this. When they call me, I'm answering. It's just not making noise. But if I'm not doing something, I'm answering my phone. That's our job, answer the phone. Unless it says potential spam, then.
There are a lot of those out there. Okay, well, thank you so much, you guys. I mean, we heard a lot about dedication, execution, delegation, accountability, and the one thing, too, is serving others. That's what we do, and that's what you guys do so well, and that's why you're top producers. So, everyone, can you please give another round of applause